Are we filming? Yes, we are. So, what are these? Most of you will know what they are. But, first of all, welcome to another video. And today I want to talk about why I think this thing, this humble treasury tag, is something that I might find useful. I'm getting into the habit of using these, and I'd like to share my experiments with you. So, what are these treasury tags? Well, there's a bit of a history to them. As I understand it, they were, I don't know who invented them, but historically, they were called India tags. And then they became known also as treasury tags. And they were issued by HMSO, Her Majesty's Stationery Office. And as you may surmise, they are used to keep documents together. Typically, you'd have one hole punched in the top left-hand corner of pages, and then you would feed this treasury tag or India tag through the hole to keep those documents together. And they're cheap. You can buy 100 like this for £3 or £4. They're not so common in stationery stores. I don't know, but you might be able to buy them. But I bought these on Amazon. You can buy them on eBay. And it doesn't matter whether they're modern or vintage. You can imagine that these last a very, very long time indeed. And so they are very environmentally friendly. It's a bit of string and some metal. And so there's no plastic involved. So a very, very useful thing indeed. And these were very, very popular with, perhaps made famous by, Winston Churchill. And he allegedly preferred these to any other device. So, treasury tags. Let me show you what I've done. So, I have got here, this is A6. This is A6 format. I like to use personal size format as well, but in this particular case, I am enjoying using, certainly in this binder, which I believe is a 50-year-old filofax Gloucester. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I like using A6 because it is doable in a standard personal size filofax, and there's no waste. And I am quite keen on not having to, I'm trying to minimise waste. So if I use an A4 sheet, this is bank paper, which I really, really rate because it's fairly good quality and it is lightweight, really, really good for typically this. I use this as my podcast notes binder, if you like, and coffee breaks. And I can't show you anything in here because it's jam-packed, but I use bank paper in A7 format. This is my Guildford Mini Executive. And for my podcast notes, I have started to use, instead of a Guildford Mini Extra Slim, I have started to use this filofax Gloucester. And if you are interested, this is the binder that I've had for quite a long time and features in my channel banner at the top of the screen that you're watching now. So I have a strong affinity with this binder. So I like the fact that it's playing a more prominent part in my regular podcast. So that's what I like about it. So I'm using A6 regularly now, but let's put that away. So this is also A6, and as you can see, I have punched the holes in A6, and so this is what I have. Ultra lightweight, 50 GSM, and I have these 6 treasury tags. Treasury tags are really, really good idea for archiving. One of the reasons for that is because there's always a risk with archiving using a leather filofax that there might be some damp, you might get a bit of mould. You have to be very, very careful of the conditions. But if you use treasury tags in this format, say you've come to the end of the year and you want to archive your diary or anything really, doing it this way using treasury tags and just storing them in an acid-free archival quality box, like a shoebox but smaller, is a very, very common way of storing documents, preserving them for the nation. Why are they called treasury tags? Well, Her Majesty's Stationery Office, there's a lot of stuff. You will probably find that a lot of documents, government documents, if you like, are stored in this way using treasury tags, not staples. Not staples, because staples are prone to rusting. But these can easily be occasionally looked at and replaced. But I suspect that if you have an acid-free cardboard box on a shelf in a humidity and temperature controlled storage facility, you might find that these treasury tags might last potentially 1,000 years, and regular inspection will mean that you can replace those that fail. So I would say that there's a possibility that this humble treasury tag will outlast me and all of you and many of your descendants as well, before someone decides to have a look and think, they're a little bit worn. I'm just going to nick down to W.H. Smith's or the equivalent of W.H. Smith's in 200 or 300 years' time and get another box. And as I said, they're cheap, £4 or £5 for 100. I think I got these on Amazon, but they're potentially available in stationery stores as well. But there we go. But I want to talk about this because apart from archiving, do these play a part in regular use? Could I use this? Could I get my pen and start using this as a diary, as a notebook, as a to-do list, as a shopping list, just as a basic means of writing things down and getting things done? Well, I think there is, and I want to talk about that because I have been thinking about this for a long time. I originally experimented with one of these, a memo book. Why did I choose a memo book? Well, because as you can see, it's very, very similar in size. These are made by Sylvine, and I like these because the paper is good and the size is virtually the same as personal size. So I have used a memo book with these covers and with the treasury tags poking through the cover of the memo book. But it's not ideal. It isn't ideal because these treasury tags may, and I'm just going to blow my nose because I've still got a bit of a cold, but I want to get things done. So just excuse me. I'm not going to cut it out. I'm just going to blow my nose. Oh, that was a really loud noise. Sorry if you're wearing headphones. So the big issue, if you are choosing to use treasury tags on a day-to-day basis, is, I mean, it's all right for Winston Churchill to do this because he had a desk, he had secretaries, and he did his own thing. But this was this is a really, really good idea on a desk, because as soon as you turn over a page, suddenly, and you have to bear in mind that that you've got to recognise there's a risk if you move these around. I'm not going to do it, but you could scratch a really, really nice desk. So just bear that in mind. But as soon as you turn over the pages, two things will strike you. One is the issue over the unsightly treasury tags disappears because they're hidden, aren't they? And also, notice something else. And these are, I'm not sure actually. Let me measure them. I don't know whether they're imperial or well, they look like they're 2 centimeters, so just under an inch. You can get these in different lengths, but for me, and perhaps for some of you as well, if you're using a filofax, then these are probably the ones to go for. Anyway, I said £4 or £5, Amazon. And I'll leave a link to the ones I bought in a pinned comment to this video. But look at this. Have you noticed this? Now, bear in mind the name of this channel. It's Flatability. Many of you will know that I like good flatability. What's the flatability like on this? I mean, it's perfect, isn't it? Perfect. And you know, you can work on these. And also the other thing that is really, really good is when you are writing, you can write and there is no encumbrance to your handwriting because of the rings, because your hand just flows over these strings, so it's very, very flush. So you can write without having potentially the requirement of taking out these rings. And I mean, I'm left-handed, but whether you're left-handed or right-handed, depending on how you use your hands, the rings can be a problem. It's not too much problem for me, but quite often I will, if I want to write neatly, I have to open the rings, take it out, write, and then put it back. But this is an advantage to using treasury tags. The disadvantage, of course, is that if I wanted to remove or add or replace a page in the middle of my stack of papers here, it's slightly tedious because I would have to feed the treasury tags through. So I'm only going to do one, but there we go. Add or replace the page and then fit them through again. I mean, it's doable, but it's a little bit tedious. So this is ideal. This is ideal as a to-do list or a diary where you are typically adding a page. Say if you have a rolling diary of, shall we say, a year or 6 months or 1 month or 1 week. It's your call. But if you are in a situation where you have, say, finished today's to-do list, you can discard it or archive it, add a fresh page here. So you can, if it's a rotating process, like a production line, many paper-based strategies rely on adding a page here and removing a page here. So from that regard, this is ideal. This is absolutely ideal. And so you have convenience. It is lightweight. There doesn't appear to be any disadvantages other than the slight difficulty if you want to add pages in the middle. But it's, as you can see, it's doable. But you've got these treasury tags that are waving around. So what do you do with that? Especially if you're trying to put this in your jacket pocket or bag. You don't want these snagging on material, the lining of your jeans pocket or something. And I think I've got the answer. And it wasn't like it hit me as a light bulb moment, but I'll tell you what. The more I think about it, and as you know, I just want to quantify this because as you know, there's been some recent social media comments saying, well, you keep chopping and changing. I do, because I want to try different things. And I want to share those experiments with you. And this is one of those experiments, which may work for you or may not. But here's the thing. This is, it is the equivalent of a traveller's notebook, passport size piece of leather. I've removed the elastics from the middle. So this is very, very good. This size is very, very good for A6 paper. But you could also potentially get any piece of leather, and this is something that I've got a couple of these, and I have used them for various things. I've been trying them out, but I really go a bundle. I really like this method, so I just put it there, and I use it as a wrap, almost like a. I'm trying to use an analogy, but the basic thing is it's a piece of leather, and you can put this in your pocket. And if you have this leather like this, which is not attached in any way, but just having a piece of leather like this allows you to hide the loose treasury tags inside. I know they're pointing out down there, but you can conceivably put this in your jacket pocket, and it works just fine. I'm going to persevere with this, possibly as a notebook, an input device. I am currently using I'm using two types of daily diary, if you like, my Atoma and my mini executive filofax. I really like these, both of them. I'm gonna blow my nose again, excuse me. So I'm a big fan of A7, but do you know what? This simple, how simple could this be? You've got some A6 paper, but you could potentially just get yourself a simple piece of leather in any format you like. A7, for instance, or A6 or personal size or even A5. I'm sure Winston Churchill used the equivalent of A4 back in the day. Was it foolscap? Not quite sure. Someone can tell me in the comments, please. But the thing is, this works. This format, whatever size you have, A7, personal size, A6, whatever. This thing here, it has no rings. It has no fasteners. It's so utilitarian, but it does the job. You could even fold it this way because there's no encumbrance to folding it however you want. You could put that in a jeans pocket, folded like that. Is it going to wear the leather out if you use this for 100 years? No, it's probably going to work just fine. The paper inevitably is going to be just fine as well because you can bend paper. So you could even, I'm just going to scrunch it up like that, and it's not going to really do any damage. And the aesthetic quality of this system with these treasury tags, I think, even though I've thought of it myself, I haven't seen anyone use this, but I'm sure there are many people out there that do this. I remember, this is my light bulb moment, but I remember Thomas Edison, and there was someone else who invented the light bulb simultaneously, and they both had the same idea at the same time. There is no people don't really own this because it's just a simple idea. But for me, I think that, and I'm trying different things, as you know. For me, I think that using these treasury tags, which are very, very cheap, and just getting yourself a piece of leather, doesn't have to be leather, but I think leather is probably the best material here, especially when you can buy these. I'll leave this particular one. It's like a cheaper alternative to the Midori style traveller's notebook in passport size. I just think it looks so good, smells good. It has the right texture. I'm really pleased with these. I bought a couple of them. I'll also leave a link, an Amazon link, to in the pinned comment. I make a small amount of commission from being an Amazon associate. So if you use those links, I'll be very, very grateful. Thank you. It helps support the channel. But I just think this is it could potentially be something I use quite a lot. But what do you think? I would appreciate your comments. I always say leave a comment, but I'm genuinely interested in your opinions about this sort of thing. And this is a slightly controversial thing because it doesn't require any connection between the paper and a leather cover or wrap. It just exists. It just exists. One thing that I really, really like before I end this, because I am waffling a bit, I appreciate that, is when you turn over these, you think that the pages will somehow you're writing on the treasury tags, but you're not, because they don't extend that far. I can feel them just more or less where the margin might have been if you are writing a margin. And one of the beauties of this, apart from the fact that you don't have any rings to worry about, is that you can write very nicely even on the first page. You can't really do that on a filofax because of the lumps and bumps of the typically there are pockets. But a piece of leather underneath a piece of paper is it feels fantastic to write like that. It feels fantastic. So I'm a big fan of this idea. But I'd really, as I said before, I'd really appreciate your comments, your input on this, your feedback, if you were. But I'll leave it there. Whoops. What have I got on here? Have I got anything I need to... No, that's all right. I don't need to block that out. Nothing to write home about there. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll leave that open because you can see the treasury tags. But yeah, I think personally, I think that's a really good idea. Let me know what you think, and until my next video, goodbye.